The old chief couldn't believe it had been 16 years already that his beloved wife and barely a year-old son were taken by a four-winged dragon that had the face of an owl. Stoic would never forget that dragon's face, and if he ever saw it again, he would kill it for killing his wife and son. Wifeless and sonless, the old chief of Burke was miserable most of his days. He still did his job though, ate with the tribe, protecting them, all things the chief was supposed to do. But his nights at home when the village was asleep were consumed with misery, regret, loneliness, and pain. His house was still the same as the day it happened, aside from the wall being repaired. The cradle still in the room by the bed, a few charred marks from the fire the dragon had breathed, and the sword his wife had been holding just before she was taken. That room in the house was frozen in time. A time when the chief had been happy, and now there was just nothing. Stoic tried for so long to track them down after they were taken. He tried for close to 3 years before Gobber the blacksmith, and Stoic's longtime friend, convincing that it was over. They searched every inch of the archipelago, but never found a trace of Volker or his young son, Hiccup. Even though he feared that they could have been in the hands of possibly Drago Bloodfist, a madman, or Grimmel the Grizzly, who was pretty much known as the Night Fury Killer, Stoic gave up, assuming they had both been eaten by dragons or killed by anything else, which only made him hate the beast and everyone else in the archipelago more and fueled his desire to locate the nest to stop the raid so no one else will have to feel the pain he did of losing everything in the blink of an eye. Hearing a blast outside, the chief assumed it might have been a raid, but upon further inspection, he saw it to just be the forced entry. Rough Nut and Tough Nut, causing trouble. Stoic stalked over after having a sigh, but Gobber stopped him with a handout. I'll take this one, chief. You just go take a load off. Not arguing, being that it was the anniversary that they had been taken, Stoic returned home. Gobber eyed the twins, then saw the rest coming out of hiding. You lot think you cannot upset the chief today? Gobber asked.
Is he always upset?
Rough Nut, the female of the two twins, asked. Both she and her brother had blonde hair and blue eyes. Yes, but today is not a day to be making it worse, Gobber sighed. What's so special about today? Came the voice of a rougher teen. He had short, dark brown hair and blue eyes. Snot loud! Hissed the female with blonde hair and blue eyes. She whacked his arm as he rubbed it. Is something wrong with him? Asked the muscular, short, bright, blonde hair and green eyes. No, fish flames. None of you know what today is? Gobber questioned. They all shook their heads, looking to Gobber for answers. Gather round, lads and lasses. Gobber mentioned for them to sit down on the grass and to listen, or did so, and waited. It happened 16 years ago today, kids. The day Stoic lost not just his wife, but also his only son, Hiccup. Gobber began. Whoa! Stoic had a kid and a wife? Snotlout asked quickly. I swear to God, if you don't shut up and let him talk, your parents will lose you! Shouted the blonde with blue eyes angrily. Easy, Astrid. I don't expect any of you to know about it. It was a long time ago, and all you kids were just babies yourselves. And the incident is not something the village talks about, because it upsets the chief. Yes, the chief had a beautiful wife named Valka, and they had one son who they named Hiccup. He was born 2 months early, and although he wouldn't survive, or thought he wouldn't survive, but he did. But he was small, as you know, in Viking tradition. The runt of the litter was named Hiccup. The chief and his wife had been trying for a baby for a while, but either they didn't make it to term, or she just had trouble convincing, Gobber explained. So when they had Hiccup and he survived, he was like that miracle child? Fishlegs asked curiously. Right so. But one night during a raid, a dragon broke into the chief's house. He rushed after his wife, who ran to the house to protect Hiccup. He was alone in the cradle when the dragon broke in. The dragon lit the house ablaze, then it grabbed Volker, who had Hiccup in her arms, and flew off. Gobber looked down. The others gasped, looking down a bit now, and they were never seen again. The chief searched for 3 years, but there was nothing to prove they were alive, and eventually, he laid it to rest that the dragon had eaten them. That's so sad, Roughnut cried. Astrid was trying to hold back her own tears. It's been 16 years today, so like I said, try not to make him more upset. Gobber stayed standing up and walking away. If they hadn't died, little Hiccup would be 17 and probably training to become chief, Gobber sighed. Whoa, so there used to be an heir, but a dragon took the chief's wife and kid from him? Toughnut mentioned.
I can't imagine the pain he feels every time he sees a dragon.
Astrid looked down. He'll be older than all of us. I'm only just about to turn 17 in 2 months. Snotlout shrugged.
Me in 1 month.
Fishline nodded.
Same for me.
Astrid agreed. We'll be 17 in 4 months, the twins said together. So what happens when Stoic retires? He doesn't have an heir to pass it along to, Fishlegs asked. I believe the council votes in a new chief, start a new bloodline until Stoic remarries and has another child, Toughnut pointed out. I don't see that happening if 16 years later he's still mourning over the wife and child he lost, Snotlout mentioned. Astrid punched him in the arm before getting up and walking away from them. She wants me so bad.
She hates you.
And with you at the bottom of the ocean. Roughnut chuckled. Soon the rest of the group dispersed to do their own thing again, but all remembering trying not bother the chief. The ice nest. Hiccup, now 17, was celebrating his birthday. Toothless in the air, of course his mother had only gotten him a new tunic, red this time, and her ruffling his hair some. This was it. Hiccup didn't care though. He had Toothless. He didn't need his mother to care about him. She had him since he was about 4 years old. The neglect just grew more and more with the older he became. She used to leave him in the care of the dragons, mainly the king dragon called the Bewilderbeast, who was an alpha species. Sighing, Hiccup and Toothless now did more aerial moves around outside of the nest, which is where he wasn't supposed to be in case anyone ever saw him. But he didn't care. He wouldn't live in that nest forever. As soon as he had an excuse to leave, he would. But right now, all he knew that the Vikings hated dragons and would kill them with a moment's hesitation. Hiccup! His mother's voice brought him from his thoughts. He scowled a bit and hovered as she came over on Cloudjumper. I told you to stay inside the nest, she reminded. I just wanted a little fresh air, Mom. No one ever sails this far out. We're miles from anyone in utter seclusion. Hiccup retorted. I don't care. What I have told you about people. They are dangerous. They don't look dragons like us, and they never will. They are mean, heartless, cruel people who only think about themselves. Now get inside. I need your help cleaning a few things out, Volker told him. With the roll of his eyes, he turned Toothless and shot back to the nest. Landing, he got off and stood in the house with Toothless beside him as his mother arrived soon after. Just tell me what I'm dumping this time, Hiccup snorted, crossed over his chest. Those boxes, Volker pointed to 2 on the ground by the door. Hiccup mumbled and lifted with ease as he walked towards the back of the nest with Toothless following. Hiccup tripped and the box on top slipped over. Hiccup groaned, beginning to pick things up. When he finished, Toothless brought over one more item that slid away. What you got there, bud? Hiccup asked as the dragon handed it to him. As Hiccup expected it, a silver chain pendant? Looking more, he couldn't make out whatever was on the front of it, but flipping it over, he saw initials, SH and BH. What's this? Hiccup asked himself. If I knew you were going to screw around, Hiccup, then I would have done it myself, Volker mentioned, walking by him with a box in her arm. A drip stuff I tripped. Stuff fell out. Hiccup said. Hey, Mom, what do the initials SH and BH stand for? Volker froze as she whipped around and saw what Hiccup was holding in his hand. Quickly, she continued walking. It was the gift your father gave me when we got engaged. Nothing that concerns you. It was part of the past, and that is where it will stay. Volker stated firmly. Come on, you never tell me anything. What is this thing? If it's nothing, then why do you still have it? We've been here as long as I can remember. I know I came from somewhere. Why won't you tell me anything about my past? Hiccup asked. Enough, Hiccup! She yelled, taken him by surprise. Your past doesn't matter. This is your future, rescuing dragons. That is it. Now throw that garbage away. I never want to see it again. Volker asked, briskly walking away. Hiccup looked at the necklace again. Whatever this thing was, it was a part of his past. His past. Narrowing his eyes, he put the necklace on and hid it beneath his armor, making sure none of it could be seen. If she wouldn't tell him anything, then he was going to find out himself. To find out who he was and where he belonged. Because rescuing dragons couldn't be all his life he had to offer. Now, he had a reason to leave.